Hello fellow freaks, geeks, and normies. I'm back with another video, and this time I'm going over demos I tried in Steam's FPS Fest that concluded earlier this week. The focus for me was to play demos of games that are unreleased, and I blasted through 12 of them. I've been playing FPS games for over 2 decades, and I'm still terrible, but that's neither here nor there. Before we get into the list, please feel free to like and subscribe. It will please the algorithm gods. And me. Anyway, let's jump in. This past week, I played 12 demos from Steam's FPS Fest, with the only condition being that they were unreleased at the time of playing. Since then, only one of the games has released since I played the demo, but we'll get there soon enough. Anyway, not only did I play through 12 of them, but I have pretty strong opinions about them as well. So why not just rank them? I'm gonna rattle off the games I played in order that I played them, and after that, we'll start ranking. From beginning to end, I played Agent 64, Spies Never Die, Ingerfoot, Undead City, Tactical Squad, SWAT Story, Sulfur, Astro Swarm, Sniper Killer, Brutal John, Schumer Booter, Flesh Adverse, Mullet Mad Jack, and Exosuit. And let me tell you, the rankings were nowhere near that order, so let's get started with number 12. Number 12, we have Undead City, releasing May 31st, 2024. The Steam page says, after a global pandemic, humanity has to survive against hordes of zombies in the quote-unquote Undead City. Set in a post-apocalyptic world crawling with zombies and raiders, this action-packed FPS game throws players into intense battles. You know, I didn't even read this before I started playing the demo, but now that I read it, it is basically the complete opposite of what it says. And I understand that all these games are in a different stage of their development, but I'm hoping that this is still in some sort of prototyping phase or something. But based on its May 31st release date, I don't think that's the case. Based on the short JPEG intro, you are trying to survive in a messed up city, or rather,
City of the Undead.
Oh my god, guys, he said the thing. He said the thing, like why it's called Undead City. He explained it. Anyway, enough of that. The demo is, unfortunately, as generic and uninspired as it gets. The city itself is pretty bland, and items have no descriptions as to how they can or will be used. You can't craft or combine to create anything yet, and the enemy AI basically is non-existent. They don't show any damage, so if you land a headshot, their head is still fully intact. Same with meleeing them, there's no visible damage on the enemies themselves. Certain assets look like you can shoot through them when you cannot, while others have large hitboxes that you can see because when you attack it, it leaves a huge generic visual graphic. Anyway, all you do in this demo is a fetch mission, and that's it. Like, I don't know anything about how this game will work or what it's really trying to go for, which is why it lands itself at the bottom of the list. Number 11, Schumer Booter, releasing June 20th, 2024. Its Steam page reads, retro FPS with dynamic fights and modern lighting. Sprite enemies once again flooded some pixel art decorated levels. Only a boomer shooter enjoyer could deal with such kind of problem. You know the drill. Gear up with a classic weapons pack and paint it red. And if you thought I was mispronouncing something or missed a couple words, I did not. That is directly from the Steam page. Go check it out. That description should give you a pretty clear idea of how this demo actually went. This was actually close to being last as far as the demo goes. This is supposed to be very much in the vein of OG Doom and Wolfenstein, but based on the description, even the quote-unquote boasts modern lighting apparently was enough to make my 3080 chug. It is clearly not optimized, which is understandable, I guess. What is not understandable is why in the does an FPS demo not have any mouse sensitivity slider? I literally have to play this game moving my hand centimeters at a time. This is at 800 DPI, and I could have changed my DPI to allow a smoother experience for myself, but this is the only game on this list that did not have a slider in the options menu. I assume this will be added in the future, but it basically makes the game unplayable, especially when you tack on the unoptimized graphics. Also, ammo was very sparse and enemies required a lot of shots to kill. Even the ones that you would think only required one shot actually required 3 or 4. Clearly, it needs some balancing, and all these reasons are why this demo lands itself at number 11. Number 10, Exosuit, released on April 22nd, 2024. And like I just said, it is out now for $3, or for less than $2, you can get the game and the soundtrack. And yeah, that sounds backwards, but that's how it is on Steam. The Steam page says, Exosuit is a dynamic shooter in a unique style where the focus is on maximizing the fun of gameplay. The game has no plot and the emphasis is on the unbridled action and unusual visual style. This is only this low because the description oversells the shit out of this game. The game is selling itself on quote unquote unbridled action, fun gameplay, and an unusual visual style. While the last point is true, it is very unusual. The first two former points are not true. The soundtrack in the demo looped and looped and looped and looped and looped and looped and looped. And while I tried to find the key cards to open up the next rooms, the gunplay is not anything to be enthused about either, since there is little feedback when you land shots, except for a satisfying red blink of the enemy. Oxford defines unbridled as uncontrolled, unconstrained, which it's definitely controlled and restricted. There were maybe like 4 enemy types, and not once did I feel overwhelmed or swarmed or out of control of the situation. I ended up getting lost for a little bit because it all just looks the same. The shooting felt decent enough, but lacked when compared to everything else ahead on this list, which is not a good sign if maximizing the fun of gunplay is one of your main selling points. Knowing this is only $4, not on sale, is only saving grace and maybe worth the pickup. Number 9, Sniper Killer, release date 2024. Steam page says, eliminate your victims as a serial killer, dubbed the Sniper Killer. Terrorize the city with your keen eye and thirst for blood while staying one step ahead of a detective hellbent on bringing you to justice. This demo is actually kind of all over the place. Based on the description, it says you play as both the detective and the killer, but that wasn't the case in this demo. It sort of leans into that idea, but not once did I control the detective. The atmosphere is a bit weird, starting you in a mission where you model for a creepy photographer for a little money, only to subvert your expectations of the situation, and the quote-unquote sniper killer kills both of you point blank. Yeah, a sniper kills 2 people point blank. Anyway, finally, you play as a sniper going on a mission to eliminate someone at a carnival, and you get to snipe them from the top of a Ferris wheel, which, yeah, kind of cool. But the game seems to want to keep it grounded in reality, which, let's start from the beginning. You get to enter the carnival with a huge fucking sniper, no issue. Then you get to go on a Ferris wheel with this said huge fucking sniper. Then you shoot someone in the head right in the fucking face and get away with it. Like, hello, are there no other people on the Ferris wheel that can just be like, hey, this guy, this MFer over here just sniped that man. Hello, this guy with a huge fucking sniper killed him. Anyway, there's a little more to the demo, but it's more of the same walking sim style stuff from the beginning of the demo. At number 8, we have Brutal John, releasing 2025. Their Steam page says, Brutal John is a fast-paced, ultra-violent retro FPS combining crazy storyline about saving the world from the mining technologies with inspired gameplay from the best shooters of the 90s. Rip apart alien enemies, destroy mining technologies, and save the world. Okay, I honestly thought this was going to be a little bit lower on the list, but it actually had good gunplay, decent enemy variety, and good feedback when you shoot an enemy. The demo itself was quite lengthy and went over 3 different levels that gave me a feel as to what the mid-game might feel like. It had a boss battle, collectibles, 2 retro minigames which eliminated barriers to a secret area, and its story is obviously a satire on the crypto mining scene, which definitely needs to be made fun of, but, and this is a fat but, the voice acting. Let's just say I hope they worked something better out. I'm almost positive it's AI. If the writing was better, then I'd be more engaged in this, but the writing's kind of fucking weird. Too weird for me. Too on the nose.
Aliens like you can grow a hair. Fuck you.
You know, maybe after a little bit you just fall in love with the charm of it. Fuck you. Like, it's kind of charming since this whole game is basically a joke, but it's not very funny at all. It's okay for maybe 1 or 2 quips, but so far through the demo, it doesn't graduate past the initial conversational structure and will get old really, really fast. Number 7, Tactical Squad SWAT Stories. Release date of 2024. Their Steam page says, in Tactical Squad, you take command of an elite special forces unit. Issue orders to your SWAT team. Manage its members and their equipment, but most importantly, complete your objectives successfully. Follow your operatives into a number of high-risk missions that will test your tactical abilities. This is the only demo I did not complete, but I'm still rating it this highly purely based on its potential. It's like if Rainbow Six had a campaign, that's what this whole game would be. I just didn't have the patience to move past a major hurdle in its gameplay. This game requires a lot of teamwork, and in its current state boasts 5-player co-op. Each person has a specific role, so if you really wanted to act like a SWAT team, doing callouts, communicating, and rolling through to get the highest rating, then this game is perfect for you. It seems quite difficult and can actually get you invested in the mission quickly, especially if you're one to play tabletop games. They give you a briefing that goes over a timeline and who is potentially lethal and who you may want to keep alive or shoot on sight. The mission in this demo is basically Texas Chainsaw, and they keep the tension high with good enough dialogue and suspenseful music. Number 6, Flesh Everest. Release date of May 23rd, 2024. Their Steam page says, Flesh Everest is a randomized survival horror FPS set inside a massive living organism. Be wary, as not everything that sounds human actually is. Okay, to be honest, I'm actually just rating this purely based on aesthetic, and apparently the levels are going to be randomly generated based on that description. The ammo system is much like Resident Evil, where you might want to conserve with some certain ammo types, and you only get to hold a knife and 2 other weapons. The gunplay itself is good enough since it's not really focusing on that, and more on trying to keep the mood grim. The demo was quite short, but reminds me loosely of a first-person Resident Evil with modern mouse and keyboard controls. Oh, and there's also that crying witch thing like in Left 4 Dead, but if you startle it, it doesn't insta-down you. But again, I didn't wait to see if it would. I just got spooked and I killed it. It's true. Number 5, Agent 64, Spies Never Die, release date of 2024. Their Steam page says, relive the golden era of gaming with a retro FPS that captures the essence of 90s console shooters. Embark on a thrilling journey of espionage and action, tackling various objectives while battling cutting-edge 64-bit powered enemy AI. Enter a world where bullets and secrets collide. This game is pure nostalgia bait. It even says it is trying to recapture the quote-unquote golden era of gaming. Obviously, controlling your character and aim has been updated to modern times, but that's not the only thing it has going for it. It is charming with not only the graphics, but the enemy AI. Their movements and animations feel so accurately captured that it made me feel like I was a tween again. I chose the hardest difficulty available to me, which required me to do a handful of objectives before completing the stage, and that felt good, just clearing out a checklist with little pressure. They did have an aiming mode that kept your screen stationary and you could just move your cursor to shoot, but it was a bit gimmicky and almost felt like wasted effort because modern aiming is way smoother. Coming up at number 4, we have Sulphur, release date of 2024. Their Steam page says, Sulphur is a modern, old-school action adventure. Outsmart enemies, find treasure, improve weapons, harness powers, delve deeper, find answers, make its end. If that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. This demo had a good amount of content in it and honestly promises a lot up front. I'm rating it this high because I'm stupid and I trust people too much. I trust that when they say or show something, that they will back it up with action. I would explain this game as a roguelike first-person dungeon crawler. You play as a priest who is apparently suffering from amnesia, and you have a magic amulet that lets you end your run early, and you get to keep everything that you picked up along the way, with the only downside being making it through the levels again. Upon death, you basically lose everything except for the bare minimum, so it is a bit of a gamble for you to recall or keep on going. When you do die or use the amulet, you are sent to a church where everyone knows you except you, but you are their savior, so these townfolk act as your vendors. They will help you upgrade, repair, unlock new weapons or spells, and yeah, again, that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. Not only that, but you can craft and add your own weapons on the fly as you find things throughout your run. It actually is just overwhelming to just talk about, so I guess I'm moving on. Number 3, we have Angerfoot releasing in 2024. Their Steam page says, Angerfoot is a lightning-fast action FPS where the only things harder than your ass-kicking feet are the ass-kicking beats. Okay, to be honest, this demo has been available for some time now, dating back as far as summer 2022, and the last update from the devs was about 2 months ago, saying they were making very serious progress on this very serious game. That being said, this game is kind of like Hotline Miami if it was an FPS. The stages and enemies are set, it can require trial and error on the first few runs, but after it clicks and you know where the enemies are, you just go, and it feels so good. Even in this short-ish demo, you get a handful of different enemy types, like the less lethal grunts, melee specialists, shotgunners, bombers, riot shielders, and a boss to cap it all off. The gameplay is just clean, smooth, chaotic fun. It's a type of game where you can't really get mad at the game because it's basically a skill issue if you die. There are even interactable items like energy drinks which give you overhealth and extra fast movement. Accompany that with some high BPM techno that will get your black boots shaken, and you got a recipe for an injection of dopamine with each successful kick. Ranking in at number 2, we have Astro Swarm, releasing on April 29th, 2024, so in just a couple days here. The Steam page says, fight for your life against the incoming swarm of zombified astronauts in Astro Swarm! Use a variety of weapons, turrets, and power-ups to survive. I don't know what it is about this demo that hooked me, but once it clicked, I couldn't stop playing it and it felt like I needed to finish the demo. It seems simple enough. Protect your ship from waves of enemies, and on the last wave, you have to defend for 2 minutes until you can enter the ship and leave. So what do? Well, you're basically the first iteration of Torbjorn from Overwatch, where you throw a turret out and you hammer away to level it up. In order to level it up though, you have to collect metal, which is passively given to you by a support building if you choose to create one, or by hacking away at metal pillars Minecraft style. This demo had 3 different levels, each with increasing difficulty. It gave you a good sense of the progression and gameplay loop in the form of permanent upgrades through the demo, and how those make you feel rewarded when you cruise by a wave that crushed you on your last run. Alright, and this is the game I am 100% excited for. I'm going to buy it day 1, 1000%. Number 1 is Mullet Mad Jack. Release date of May 15th, 2024. The Steam page says, Mullet Mad Jack is a single-player fast-paced FPS that brings you directly inside a classic anime. Power up your character and reach the last floor. Beat your best time or try again. Haste makes waste of your enemies. Anyway, being a fucking anime-peeled weeb who's a sucker for a retro aesthetic with tight gameplay, this game blew me away. The premise is you are being live streamed and your viewers are a bloodthirsty bunch. You act as a moderator, which you have opted into by choice, and can get chosen to be part of the live stream at any given moment. You play for an arbitrary prize, in this case a pair of gaudy sneakers, and all you have to do is save the princess. The catch is, as you are being live streamed, you only have 10 seconds to live, and the only way to get more seconds is by killing. The audience gets bored after 10 seconds of terrible action, or if you are getting hit, and that will end the run. Luckily, jumping back into a run is seamless. This demo sells the game very well. There's a satisfying weight to the gunplay, and each weapon I chose felt like that was the weapon I was shooting. It sounds simple, but let me tell you, after playing all of these different demos, shooting in games is not created equal. This game just feels awesome, and not only that, the frantic gameplay makes time fly by. I didn't even realize I spent an hour and a half zipping by enemies trying to land my shots, finding environmental kills, or just trying to get to the exit by the time expired. There's so much to keep track of, but it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. It's a perfect mix of arcade and high skill cap that I want out of an FPS. Again, this is wishlisted and an easy day 1 purchase for me, which is why it lands itself at number 1 on this list. Whoo-wee, what a freaking haul of demos. I'm always glad I do these though, because I usually find 1 or 2 games that I can make my whole personality. Thanks for watching the video, and if you made it this far and you enjoyed the content, give the video a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down and you can Did you play any of these demos? Do you agree with my rankings? Did I overhype or undersell a game? How offended are you by this list? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.